Are you serious? Are you serious? Are we talking bubonic plague? The bubonic plague? What? Arizona. Arizona. And here's the deal, folks. It's going to blow your mind, but I talked about this last night in our live broadcast, but the fleas in Arizona are testing positive for the plague. In Navajo County, public health officials have confirmed Friday that fleas in the region tested positive for the bubonic plague. And what we're finding out is it is a risk to the public. These fleas in these two different Arizona counties have tested positive for the plague. The same catastrophic bubonic plague that killed millions of people so many years ago. And in Navajo County, the public health officials confirmed it, that the fleas are in the region and they are carrying the bubonic plague. So this was something that just is devastating. What happened so many years ago when the plague killed millions during the Middle Ages time frame. So what is Arizona doing about it? Well, the CDC is involved now. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention states through studies that outbreaks occasionally occur in southwestern United States, like Arizona, during cooler summers following real wet winters. And symptoms of the bubonic plague include sudden fever, headache, chills, and weakness, and one or more swollen, tender, and painful lymph nodes. According to the CDC, the bacteria can spread to other parts of the body if untreated. All right? Now, the bubonic plague did kill about 100 million people during the 14th century and was known as Black Death. Drawings and paintings from the outbreak, which wiped out about a third of the European population, a third of the world, in that part of the world, I should say, depict town criers saying, "Bring out your dead," while dragging trailers piled with infected corpses. You can imagine when this was going on that even the preachers were preaching this is the end of time because a third of the known world had died from this awful plague. But it wasn't the end of time. The world hadn't even been fully all discovered yet. And there was so much more prophecy yet to be fulfilled. But now we live in a time where we're seeing another warning. We're approaching the August 21st solar eclipse, the total eclipse of the sun. And what's going to happen here is we're already seeing, again, signs that are in the Bible. Plagues, diseases, earthquakes, raging seas, wars, rumors of wars. All of this is part of the end time pestilence that the Bible spoke about in Matthew 24. Jesus was asked the question. He was sitting on the Mount of Olives when the disciples came and said, "Master, can you tell us the sign of thy coming and the end of the world?" And Jesus said in Matthew 24, he answered and said unto them, "Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences, or plagues, and earthquakes in diverse places, and all of these are the beginning of sorrows." Now, all through the Bible, there's been different plagues that have affected people. During the time of the Exodus, of course, there were 10 plagues that God sent as signs to not only the Egyptians that his children were leaving, but a sign to the Israelis that they were going to be leaving, that God was on their side. So we're going to keep a close eye on the bubonic plague situation in Arizona. Pray that this does not become some kind of an epidemic, for sure. We've got enough concerns with the bird flu. And the Center for Disease Control and Research and Policy, their director, Dr. Ozohom, whom I spoke to and actually listened to his full presentation on the coming epidemic that he says is bound to happen. It's going to happen, just a question of when the bird flu mutates a little bit more and then begins to spread among the population It will kill many, many, many people. He calls it the pandemic that's bound to happen. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We're in the last days. Give your life to Jesus Christ. This is what the Bible said would happen. This is just some of the evidence that you're in the last days, but certainly there are many others. I'll be back with more. See you at 12 noon Eastern at my website. I'll be live at 12 noon Eastern with the coming apocalypse at paulbegleyprophecy.com. Also right here on this YouTube channel.